Stopped. Well, I don't know who or what Emma is, but orphan diseases. Wow. Okay, so Emma is on the move here. Doesn't trade very much, but Emma's on the move. EMMA. Okay, CPRX is trying to come back. It's that's a pretty nasty candle that happened. You know, I mean, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2.5, almost 3 hours, you know, and then all of a sudden you get that out of nowhere. Hello, Benya. Welcome to the room. Very slow day for me anyway. Well, COM, let's see, what did COM do last week? 1121 was the high for COM last week. I mean, this is, you know, I mean, this is why I liked it, but man, it's a great, that is the sort of pattern I love on the daily. You see how it's almost kind of 45 degrees down? No little, I mean, right there is kind of where you think it would stall, but the rest is kind of 45 down. So you don't get little shelves on the way up, little shelf areas that's what I call the potential resistant areas. No market beat. I told you not to do it. Just playing with your mind, messing with you. I'm kidding. I was kidding. Kidding. All right. Well, CPRX is right back up. I'm more interested in this one going forward though, because again, look at this monthly chart. Looks like the daily chart kind of takes all this out. What's the month high right here is 633. So I'm going to put an alert at 636. I know it's not a lifetime high. I don't know where the lifetime high is, but if I go back on a monthly chart, And I'm going back to 2014. I don't see, I mean, I don't care. I don't care if the yearly high is somewhere before 2013. Doesn't matter to me. Bang, bang. Banging the drum. I saw that bouncers, toppers. These are in theory looking for stocks that might have topped out, and then you look for a short, but not yet. Yeah, there you go, Cam. So I don't care. 2007. I think things that might have changed in the trading environment since then. Whew, all right, guys. What is it? Almost 2:30. Sono has a partnership with IKEA? Really interesting. Oops. Been a bit of a disaster. It was an IPO, I believe. When was it? Yeah, back here. No, no, no. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of something else. I thought they actually redid an IPO of some sort. I don't think that's '09. I don't believe that. I may be wrong. Sorry, are you talking to me, Benya? What are you trying to do? I don't understand the question. 2:30, I'm just saying it's almost 2:30, that's all. I'll be shutting the room down at 3. Oh, I see. Interesting. Lamps. Okay. All right, there goes real. After that pullback. So Tilly's has earnings after the market closes today, TLYS. You can see right there. So bets are being placed ahead of time that their earnings reaction is going to be good. Well, this cheap one, let's see here, and it was in my evening scan. Yeah, I mean, it's got some nice bottoming tails on the weekly chart. You know, the seller's been trying, but the buyers look like they're somewhat in control for NBRF. Well, look at Emma here. I'm going to mention it right around here. Actually, not a bad spread through 1720. And the volume is coming into Emma. It's about over a third, maybe about 35 to 40% of the volume right here of the day. Yeah, another one, bets are being placed ahead of time. Guess has earnings after hours. I could. Especially if it has a USB or something, you could plug it into get my headphones going, or Bluetooth it. Yeah, I'm a Bose guy. Yeah, low expectations. You could say that. Zuo is doing nothing. Well, believe me, with the CPRX, if it takes out 630 tomorrow, it could have a nice little run in it. All right, guys. 2:33. So this room is, I'll always stick around if there are questions, but now's the time, especially now's the time to keep me interested. Closing the room at 3. I don't know anything about it. Well, think about me. I've got my music typed in, so at least I've got that, but well, obviously Autodesk had earnings today and not a great reaction. I mean, it's making a nice comeback. I'll give it that, making a very nice comeback, but I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know. I mean, it got down as low as 129, so it has come back $10. But the market has been depends, I suppose, what the market does tomorrow too. I mean, but it is still down. I mean, for all the reasons it got down, it was down. They're still in effect, but it definitely had a nice comeback. But if you're asking me to make a prediction, do I think it's going to keep going? I have no idea. As you know, I'm definitely not in the prediction business. Biggest trading mistake is not obeying my stop. Number one, that's the number one, not obeying my stop and second guessing my stop. I can't remember the last time I did that, to be honest. Yeah, I was just trading to boredom, but I don't, even that's not a catastrophic one usually. You can lose a little bit of money just by, oh man, I got to trade. I don't have to trade. I mean, I have to trade in that, yes, I make a living trading and all, but I don't have to be in a trade every minute of every day, is what I'm saying. But not obeying my stops early on in my little trading career, because you have to just check your ego. You are going to. I don't even want to call it making mistakes. If you're set up, if you get your setup and you take the trade and it's a setup that you like and it doesn't work, it doesn't mean you made a mistake. Now, if you keep using the same setup and it never works, well, of course that's a mistake. You better change your setup. But that's probably the number one. Because not obeying your stops can lead to revenge trading. Because as I said before, you don't obey your stop, and now instead of that nice little $50, $100, whatever your account size loss, that has now turned into $300, $400, $500, you can really start getting reckless. And I know people are out there just nodding their head saying, yeah. Hopefully you're still not doing it, that's all. R-A-D, that never appeared for me anyway, R-A-D-K. R-A-D-K? I don't see, is that the right symbol? I know there's RAD. So I need the right symbol, Benya. Oh, Arcadia. Well, I mean, look, obviously this has been in the news. It's had a lot of excitement. It's all started 3 weeks ago. You know, lots of news about what they do, whether you believe it or not. I mean, the only thing you can say about it right now, I mean, these topping tails and bottoming tails on the weekly chart, I mean, it's sort of right now, it's kind of directionless. That's the problem. You know, I saw this in the pre-market as it was drifting down. The only entry for me would have been here on a 2-bar pullback. Not that I'm a great pullback player, but that would have been the only entry right there around 736 if you could have got it, which would have been obviously really good. Yep. Mr. Livermore, yep, I've read it. A float on BAT, B-H-A-T. We don't have a float. Yeah, this is a China stock. I know it's kind of a crazy one. I think they did the IPO here last month. Well, here's another one. You talked about biggest mistakes is chasing. You reminded me, Benya. You know, you miss your entry, and then it starts to move, and that old fear of missing out, FOMO, starts to take place, and you start to chase. I used to do that. Everybody does. I will do it every now and then, but still with a pretty tight stop. And it has to be really the right conditions, and very rarely. Just because, I think something that's got incredible momentum, incredible news. But you'll hear me say this many times, especially early on. You say, I can't take that trade. I can't take that trade. I mean, it's moving up and up and up. I literally have to Dr. Strangelove myself. Old movie, if you ever seen it. He has to grab his hand to prevent him from doing something. So that's me on the do not chase. You just have to go. Hopefully you probably hear me slapping into my hand right now. So again, before I do start shutting the room down, so again, if you're new to the room, welcome to the hour before the market. And I go up to 3:30 Mondays to Thursdays and up to 3 o'clock on Fridays. Today, I'm definitely shutting at 3, unless there are questions. If you are a Trade Idea subscriber and you want some of the scans, you can just click on, are you going to get me back in? For tomorrow, guys, on the CPRX. But anyway, you can click on the scans tab. All the scans that I'm sharing are here, like many that you don't see on the monitor that I share, that you can see. Or you can click on the Room Drive. Room Drive icon looks like a half-open folder. Click on that, and scans that I share, click on download, and it'll go to a Word document. The links, you can download the links also, all right? Again, they'll go to a Word document so you can have them, look at them at your leisure. Here are the links. A subscription tab, the AI, description of what the AI is all about, all of the AI strategies, a description of them, the training Monday to Thursday at noon Eastern, webinars It's a guest webinar today, so it's not the normal one. But when we get back to a normal schedule, Monday to Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern, all archived, you should have the latest production version of Trade Ideas. Help, about, and that'll tell you what you've got. 4.2.89 is the latest version. I am in a development version. You can take out a demo of Trade Ideas. Gives you just a taste of what Trade Ideas can do. You can set up these windows. You're on a 15-minute time delay though. You will not have charts. You will not have the AI. And let's see, I do a daily video between 1:15 and 1:45 every day. You can sign up for it here. And Trade of the Week, sent to you before the market opens every Monday morning. This is how much Trade Ideas costs. If you click on the subscriptions tab, you'll see there is a link, and there is the promo right now, 15% off, first month only, or the entire year. This is how much Trade Ideas does cost. Basically 4 plans. We've got the standard yearly, $10.68 a year minus that 15%, or the premium, $22.68 a year minus the 15%. The big difference is the AI. The monthly plan, I would never start off with a yearly plan. If you're not sure of us, just always start off with a standard monthly, 118 less that 15%. See if you like us, or the 228 minus the 15%. If within 30 days you decide, yeah, I love you guys, I want to upgrade from standard to premium, or from a monthly plan to a yearly plan, you can do so, and we'll honor the promo code. And I'm just going to go over Brokerage Plus. This is what Brokerage Plus looks like. Basically, it's a nice looking order entry screen. If you're going to use it, you will need an interactive broker's account. All right. Before you tune me out, I'm going to tell you that it's going to be relatively soon available as a live real-time paper trading module. But right now, if you want to use it, basically it links with your interactive broker's account. This is then what you would use for your order entry screen. You click on an alert. It'll show up here. You can short it by selling, go long by buying, pick how many shares you want, and then this will show you the bid and the ask. These are hotkeys: flatten, get out of a position, get out of half your position, double your position, or reverse. Go from long to short, short to long. And you can also do it multiple. It's not just one stock at a time. You can basically highlight the ones you want to do this with. Next step would be what we call one-click order entry. So let's say you like AAL, you've seen it on the chart. Ahead of time, you are able to set up your own buying and shorting parameters. Very simple to do. You just pick how you want to trade it, and it'll show up, of course. And last but not least, we were getting sooner and sooner to rolling out the real-time paper trading module, not linked with any brokerage account, of course. It's basically, all our alerts are real-time, so you just click on the alert. You want to trade it, it'll show up, and this will be a real-time paper trading module. So great for people who are new traders to kind of practice trading to a certain extent. Okay, and don't know when exactly it's available, but they tell me that at least next week I will have a version of it to try. We have to make sure test for any bugs and things like that. How do you open it? Just and by the way, yeah, Brokerage Plus is part of your standard package. Just new Brokerage Plus. Go to your toolbar, new Brokerage Plus. Then it will open. Okay. So again, just go to your toolbar, click on new, and Brokerage Plus right there, Brokerage Plus. Also in the toolbar, again, I guess in retrospect, it wasn't that bad a day for my evening scan on the long side. It wasn't that bad a day. It was a little bit choppy to trade, that's all. But you can follow along. You can have everything that I do. You just go down, click on new channel bar and Barry's windows. And again, as a recap of what I do every day and how I prepare, so that you will have this list tomorrow. So this is the evening scan for today, okay? I'm going to actually rename it. It's probably a little misleading. You could just call it, today's watch list or something like that. But let me just bring up how this all gets started. There's CPRX. Oops, sorry, just a second. Give me a second here. Where are you? I'm just looking for the evening scan. There we are. Okay. So this is what I do. I'll wait for 4:30. I'll give the stocks that are going to, the companies that are going to release earnings after hours today, between 4 and 4:30. So this list will fill up a little bit more with those. Basically, these are stocks that are the movers today, either in the upside or the downside. All right, I have some filters in place. And so what I do is then I will look at each one and back this out. I'll look at each one. I'll look at the weekly, daily, monthly chart, and I'll make it's a subjective things, but I'll make a determination. Do I think this could have some follow through tomorrow, either on the upside or the downside? And if it does, then it'll make the list, as I call it, and I go through each one of these. So this is how these stocks made the list from yesterday's evening scan. So this is how, but also what I'll do with this list today, this is today's list, I'll look at each one of these again, even though most of them were from a list last night. I'll say, okay, do I think that, for instance, Avid, as an example, do I think it could still have some room? If I do, then I'll keep it on the list and it'll still be there tomorrow. And so I go through each one of these and try to make a determination. Do I think the stock has some follow through tomorrow? So so going through this list and then this list, that's how I come up with the evening scan. That's how this list is available for you, everybody, today from the channel bar. And these are the windows that you get. You have the top list of the symbols. Now, you notice right off the bat, there are a lot of symbols that all trigger. In fact, maybe only a third of them or a quarter of them actually triggered out of this list. So they have to, just because it makes the list doesn't mean it's going to be, it's going to trigger tomorrow. And that's I have my filters in place here that prevent a lot of these. For instance, if the relative volume is less than 2 or 1.5, the volume is less than 200,000, I don't want to see it today. Just stuff like that. So that is basically, so again, you click on new channel bar, and then right all the way down here, should get them to elevate me somewhat. Then you can do the same thing I do all day long. You can stare at the same windows I do all day long. Why I like it? Don't get very many alerts. I've been doing this now in this fashion since probably about a month and a half now, and it has been really good. One of the reasons, yeah, the U.S. market and Canada is closed. Well, it's Labor Day in the States too, Blair. So yeah, it's one of the few holidays for both Canada and the States. So one of the reasons I'm doing this is that a lot of people, they see all these windows and, well, okay, it's great. I see all these wonderful symbols showing up. What do I do with it? how do I create all these? Not that it's that hard. I mean, I share everything, but what we're trying to do is to give people some actionable stocks that should have some action the next day. Or, well, obviously you're looking at it, you know, tomorrow you'll be looking at the stocks that I have picked. So you don't have to know how to do anything. I mean, you don't have to, you know, obviously reading charts and things like that. But it gives you a starting point. Because I mean, this is it today. Now today, again, I discount the two precious metal stocks, the MAG and the AU. All the other ones did okay. On the short side, I haven't really looked, to be honest. I haven't, well, and that's the other thing. When the market's doing this, forget about the shorts. You know, if the market were tanking, you know, then watch the shorts. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. By the way, there was a beautiful red bar ignored on the 15-minute chart. In fact, you want to cut this, you want to copy and paste this. This is exactly. The only thing I would have liked to have seen is a little more of a trend without these topping tails previous. But you'll hear us talk about red bar ignored, green bar ignored all the time, all right? So what this means is you've got a situation where you've got a bit of you have an uptrend. See that red candle? Totally engulfed by the previous green candle. But almost more importantly, there's a big bottoming tail. So what does that bottoming tail mean? It means, remember now, the sellers tried to knock this down all the way here. The buyers closed it here. And then the buyers, if the next candle is green and moves above, prints above the high of that red candle, then you have a pattern that is suggesting a long. Okay? And that's what we call a red bar ignored. In other words, you've got a trend, momentary pause, ignore it, and the trend continues. Do they all work? Of course not. But that's a pattern you'll hear us talk about all the time. And of course, the flip side is the green bar ignored. Exactly the same principle. You have a downtrend, you have a momentary pause with a green candle, and then the trend continues down. No, the only thing, well, no, because of course it'll depend on, that's why you don't necessarily take every, just because you see it doesn't mean, oh, I just hop in and take it. For instance, you know, if you saw a lot of resistance right on top, for whatever reason, on the, you know, weekly or monthly or daily, you wouldn't take the trade. At least I wouldn't. Okay. The only thing I would do is on your stop. So if you had taken this trade right here at 1358, you have two stop areas. If you want to be a little more aggressive and put a tighter stop, you go to the bottom of the body of the candle. Okay. So in this case, you'd have less than a 10-cent stop. So that means you can take more shares, you know, depending on what you are risking. But if you want to be a little more conservative, then you put the stop way down here. Now that's something I wouldn't do, but you know, I mean, that is something you can. So it's basically two stop areas. Now this is a fairly big bottoming tail, but sometimes you know it could have been right there. So again, you can either put the stop at the bottom of the base of the candle or literally at the bottom of the tail of the candle. That's it. After that, I don't have any price targets because, you know, I mean, I'm just using this as an example. It would all depend on, you know, where the next level of resistance could be. Let's see that link. Yeah, I'm not sharing it anymore. I've changed the symbol so it's not being shared anymore. Okay, you have to go to the channel bar. You know, it is this right here, but yeah, the symbol list that was in here is no longer there. So I don't believe I have. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have don't repeat on this at all. This is repeating. If you're talking about the top list window that I have, maybe. No, never. The only thing we're doing Top Trader is trying to get the web-based version a lot better. Things like being able to put price alerts on the charts, being able to move, if you have multiple monitors, move very easily to another monitor, okay? But that's the way we're going. I mean, we're constantly improving the web. I like the web. Actually, I really like our web-based version, but there are a couple things that you can't do. Those are two of them, which prevents me. But I like the look of it, actually. But they're constantly, they've come a long way in 6 months. As you know, I mean, we have guys that people at Trade Ideas who have Macs and they just use, an emulation program if they want to use the app. All right, guys, it is now through. Again, I'll stick around if there are questions. Really enjoy answering questions. But if there are no more questions, it's not like I have to be anywhere. Sometimes I'd have to shut the room down because I really have to be somewhere. But if there are no more questions, all right, I don't see anything coming in here. So, all right, guys. Okay, well, I guess that's a wrap. Bit of a very quiet day for me. Let's see what tomorrow brings, but very quiet day for me. So again, I'll open the room tomorrow. Yeah, bike time, absolutely. I'll open the room tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern time. So I hope everybody has a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Start the process of shutting down right now. Yeah, way better.